Yo, what's good? What's good? We're back with another episode of Whispering to Your Soul. I'm your host, King Jacobo Martin, and I am sitting here with two amazing kings, two gentlemen that I call my brother from another mother. We're going to start off with the light-skinned wonder, Mr. Marvel himself. Talk to the people. Let them know who you are, Jay.
Hey, what's going on? Marvel 00784, Jay, writer, director, military veteran, handyman, personal trainer, all around everything kind of guy. It's nice to be here.
You dig. And at the bottom, lo and behold, my brother, my good friend, Mr. Tupac himself. Talk to the people.
Yeah, man, just decided to be on the show again and ready to dive into these topics.
You dig. He being modest. What y'all don't know is he's rocking his own logo, his own clothing line. So y'all make sure y'all tap into the buffers. He's also, both of them are personal trainers. So they both gonna help me get my fat self in shape because I got to get right, especially knowing two dope personal trainers. So we're gonna get into this show. We're gonna get into these topics today. You know what I mean? We got some juicy things going on for y'all. So let's start off with topic number one today.
At Donald Trump and how the Democrats went after him. You do understand that the Democrats are no longer in a position to say anything, right? You can talk till the cows come home. You whistling into the wind. Nobody wants to hear what you have to say right now. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about your party. Because when you pardon your son, going back on your word, telling the American people there was no way that you were going to pardon him when everybody and their grandmama knew you were lying but didn't hold you accountable for it. And now you've confirmed what people believed, that you were probably going to be lying about that very thing that you said you wouldn't do for your son. All you had to do was say, he's my son. I can't let him go to jail. What's the matter with y'all? Do I got to act like Dana Carvey from Saturday Night Live? And another thing, and by the way, is that what I got to do? All you had to do was say, that's my son. I'm not sending him to jail. I have the power to pardon him and to bring him home with me when I walk away from the White House, ending my political career. I'm taking my son home with me. Everybody would understand that. That wasn't good enough for you. It wasn't good enough for you. Instead, you have to try to come across like he was victimized because of you, like you're so innocent, like you're such a paragon of virtue. And as a result, now you've brought more skepticism in the direction of the Democratic Party. Why? Because you show you're no different than the other side, which you were accusing of everything. Y'all went after Donald Trump for everything but tying his shoelaces on the right way. You raked him through the coals. You threw him under the bus. You did everything to him. And I'm in no way trying to act like he's some innocent bystander in all of this. But when the word hypocrisy comes up, there's no escaping it. There's no escaping it.
This is such a dope topic. So let's start off with you, Jay. How do you feel about Stephen A. going in on President Joe Biden?
I mean, you know, I'm of two minds of this. It's warranted, especially if it's a public statement where he says he was not going to do something and then goes back on it. But at the same time, you know, I feel like Stephen A. This is obviously to sell, because, you know, we all knew that he was going to pardon his son somehow, some way. So right. It seems like Stephen A. is coming off as more like, this is more of like a surprise or a shock, when in fact it's a shock to nobody. For me, what it is not so much to say he's my son. People will understand, because people are still going to criticize no matter what. For me, it's more of a situation where you waited until after the election and made, which makes a very political thing. You waited till after the election. You waited till all of the cards fell and political futures are pretty much cemented now to say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and pardon him, because doing it prior to Kamala running, or doing it prior might hinder whatever it is, and say, okay, we didn't vote for her because of this reason or this reason or this reason. So that to me is the That to me is the shady part, making it very politicized. Parting his son was always going to happen, though. So I'm not going to sit here and make a big animated thing about it, or animated speech about it, where we didn't know it was going to happen. We knew it was going to happen. We didn't know. We all knew it was going to happen.
Right. I agree with that. I love how you pointed out the fact that he waited till after he lost to pardon his son, because if he did it beforehand, how that would hurt his campaign while he was running for president. And it also shows that, bro, you're no different. You try to throw somebody up under the bus for the same actions that you're doing, so you're a hypocrite. Right. So I do appreciate Stephen A. calling him out on that. Industry threat. What are your thoughts about this situation?
Nepotism at its finest. We already knew that he was going to pardon his son, and Jay made a great point. He waited to see what the election results was going to be, and then now he's getting treated unfairly. It's because of who I am. And okay, so if that's the case, when he first went to jail, then why didn't you pardon him? Because the same factors apply whether it was before or after the election. They just didn't start treating him bad. Oh, he didn't get elected. Let's treat him horrible, right out, after he did get elected. So therefore, we already knew this was going to happen. It was more so of a waiting game. Now, to contrary belief, claims were placed to whereas he mentioned that he was waiting for his political party to make moves and pardon him first before he used his God-given ability as a president to use his authority and power. And since apparently that didn't play out, he's just like, let me use this presidential power to just be like, no, he's not going to jail. And if you notice the charges that he's brought upon, it's been people that are still in jail for those same type of crimes.
Yeah. Talk. Cook. Because isn't it crazy because of positioning and title? It's amazing how America wants to get on LeBron James for putting in the NBA, and they're talking about the nepotism of his dad's success and why is Bronny there. Bronny didn't commit a crime.
Yeah.
Bronny was an All-American basketball in high school. Bronny had a heart attack. He had a situation going on with his heart where he didn't even get a chance to develop in college. But you're upset the fact that LeBron, because he is, I'll say it, to me, the greatest basketball player ever. Shout out to all my Michael Jordan haters. I got LeBron, Kobe, then Mike.
No. All right, go ahead.
I said what I said. I said what I said. I look at it as this. It's crazy how we can hate on Bronny, who has not committed a crime, who was not arrested, and being able to take advantage of nepotism. But for someone who has committed a crime, for someone who was behind jail, all of a sudden, because your father's position, it allows you to free him. Who have done the same crime, doing the same time, and they can't get out because of their father's position. So it's okay. You're the president and you're a white president, it's okay, because if a black president would have done the same thing, you would have been enraged.
They would have torn apart that person. They would have torn apart his legacy.
Period.
That would have been vice president for sure.
And it just is what it is. You know what I mean? It just is what it is. And here's the bigger part about it: the simple fact that you lied to the American people and saying that you weren't going to do it. So if you came on the news by yourself and volunteered that information and said you wasn't going to do it, how many other things did you lie about when you were in office? If you don't have no accountability, especially when it comes to your family and holding a standard of accountability, because guess what? Other people would love to pardon their children from their crimes as well. But because they're not president, they don't have the power to do that. So because you have power and influence, you can do what you want to do when you want to do it. Let them cook. Strategic when you did it. And that's why I love Jay's point, and I love how Industry Threat followed up with that point. You know what I mean? because it's so important that we understand that you didn't do it when you were the subject of the people's vote. You
Yeah.
waited until you lost and you said, well, guess what? I lost. It doesn't matter. I'm going to do what I want to do now.
Yeah, and the
Like,
thing, the Hunter Biden thing has been hanging out there for since before he was president. Hunter Biden, this is not a new phenomenon. It's not like he got in trouble last week and it's like, surprise, my son's in trouble. I got to scramble to help him out. This has been going on for years.
exactly.
So why didn't you pardon? Like I said, why didn't you pardon him last year? Why didn't
Right.
you?
But
He's
guess
had
what?
charges for a long time.
Yeah.
Why is it that we can see the highlights of Bronny and people throwing Bronny under the bus on social media all day long about the nepotism of his father, and Bronny's not even a criminal, but yet when it comes to Hunter Biden, you don't see that. You don't see the same type of energy being put towards the nepotism of the president pardoning his son.
Yeah.
And I find that very intriguing that one party committed a crime and you have the president allowing the son to get out of jail from the crime that he committed. And then you have another young man who was a McDonald's All-American who you want to try to throw under the bus, and he did not commit a crime, but he's catching more pressure than doing, you know what I'm saying, from having nepotism from his father than Hunter Biden is for actually committing the crime and his father actually being the president to allow him to get out. Because when LeBron James speaks about crimes, we want to say shut up and dribble. We have people like Candace Owens who tries to throw LeBron under the bus for his actions. But then when it's on the reverse side, you don't have the same type of energy for a president who let a criminal out of jail after he said he wouldn't do it. Why do we not have the same type of energy? That's what I would love to know.
Yeah, I feel like something like this is our political climate is so polarized that people will, on whatever side they choose, this being the Democratic side, will jump all over this, but refuse to see like the rhetoric that you're talking about, like all the stuff, whether you're a Trump supporter or not, all the stuff with Trump and how much he's criticized and ostracized, and like, oh, he did this and he did this and he did this and he cheated over here and he did this and he did this and he did this, but refuse to see it from the other side, and vice versa. That makes the dichotomy of these situations so difficult just to even speak about. You know what I mean? Because the other side's like, well, we don't know anything about, we don't know anything about talking ish or mess about this side over here. You did. We have playback of it, and vice versa. So, I say stand on business. If you're a hardcore Democrat, hardcore blue side, and this is going on, and you know this is wrong, you got to stand on business and call it out for what it is. And that's what I can agree with Stephen A. on. Just the same as you would want the red side to stand on business and stay with their political candidate when something is going on there. They never accused Trump of doing anything. Okay, well, now you guys got your turn. Stand on business.
I love the fact that right now, brother, you're on fire today. You know what I mean? And I just want to highlight you are making some amazing points, because where is the accountability? I'm going to say something crazy, but I hope y'all follow me when I say this crazy statement. I don't think we really understand the statement of we the people. If we the people actually knew how much power we the people actually had, then we the people wouldn't allow things like this to happen. But we the people are so divided that we the people can never come together to use our power that we the people actually really have. We don't hold people accountable the way we the people should hold people accountable, especially our government. But it's crazy how our government hold we the people accountable.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all really understood what I just said. It's
Yeah.
crazy how the government can hold you accountable. Hold you accountable for the things that you do wrong. But us, as we the people, don't hold our government accountable because we the people are so divided. So the government does whatever it wants when it wants, because we don't understand that there's power in unity when it comes to we the people. We should be holding our presidents accountable for the statements that they state. The same way they hold us accountable to the laws to protect us.
Yep.
And until then, we won't get the changes that we actually want to see. We won't get the changes at all. Because in order to create change, you have to have unity. In order to create change, you have to be able to, one, pay for the change you want. Two, be willing to stand up for the sacrifices that you want to see. And that's why it bothers me that two people in the same state can do the same crime, but one person get a different type of time. One person gets counseling and the other one gets a maximum sentence. Because Bronny goes to the NBA because of nepotism, because of his father, he gets thrown under the bus. But Hunter Biden get his taken out of jail or his sentence removed or whatever else because his father's the president and he doesn't catch as much heat. I don't understand that. But maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm in my feelings. You know what I mean? Did you guys have any closing statements that y'all wanted to make on this?
Nepotism is real.
Nepotism is definitely real.
That's my
but if you oh, sorry, I agree. I didn't mean to step on you there, Jeff. Or industry that. Yeah, I just say if you support that side, then stay with that side no matter what. Even through the muck and the highs and the lows. Don't try to switch up now that the side, whoever side you're on, is not doing good. You got to stay with it till the end.
That even bothers me, right? That bothers me. And this is what I'm saying. Should we be on the side of Democrat, Republican? Because I thought we were just people. Why are we not on the side of just right and wrong?
Bipartisanship. That's what we should have, and we don't have it in our current political climate.
Not at all. Why right is right and wrong is wrong. So why don't we just stand up for what's right and what's wrong and stop allowing all these other devices to keep us divided? That's why we the people can never be. So many different devices to divide us, so that way we're always pointing fingers at each other that we are actually seeing the BS that's actually really happening. We're arguing over kibbles and bits. We're arguing over BS. We're arguing over things that don't matter. We're arguing over things that don't change laws. We're arguing over things that don't move the needle. But the things that are actually important, we're so distracted with the mess that we actually don't pay attention to all the other things that are actually really happening that affect change.
Yep.
And I think we just need to do better at that. You know what I mean? I really think we need to do better at that.
But lastly, just one more thing before you leave. People pay more attention to the parties than the actual house that the party holds.
You better talk. That makes sense. You better talk.
And I'm just going to leave it at that.
Well, look, I'm going to go a step further because you know me. I ain't finna bite my tongue. I can't stand how we get so crazy with the presidential election. Presidents change his faces, but we never address the White House.
Yeah. Exactly.
All day long. But yet the body remains the same. And I don't understand that. We never address the body. The body is disease infected, it's cancerous, it's toxic, but yet the faces change. Like McDonald's competing against Burger King. It doesn't matter because they all are working for the same thing.
Exactly. Exactly.
A lot of times people skip over the most important part of government, and it's not the federal, it's your state and local government. People skip over the things that are happening in their immediate, and they jump just straight to what the presidential and the federal stuff is, not understanding that the people that you vote for in your district, your governor, or your mayor, all that stuff has a profound effect moving forward. So,
and let me take Justin's statement a step further. You skip over you. You skip over you and your own rights and what you want. You don't even pay attention to you and then your needs and your family needs and your friends' needs. We have no idea about our own identity, but yet we want to talk about the president's identity. We want someone to lead us, but we don't know how to lead ourselves. We're always looking for the next leader, but we don't want to look in the mirror and have accountability and responsibility. The accountability to you and your family, the accountability to yourself, because you can't save nobody until you know how to save you. Stop pointing just fingers there, but yet we have to get together things here in the nucleus of things. We have to take care of things here, right here, me, my own flaws, my own abilities, my own right to get out there to the city, the state, and vote all these things now. How I spend my dollars, how I want to move the needle, how do I want to affect change now. You know what I mean? And finding like-mindedness and togetherness. And just because, let's say, Jeff and Justin's views are different than mine, I don't have to throw them under the bus because they have a different view than me. Because there's not one right view, but how can we take this and make it a beautiful, because people try to change what rainbow is. A rainbow's only beautiful for the diversity of it. So why can't we take all of this diversity of what we want and make something where everyone can actually move forward and move the needle to change so the world can be a better place?
Yeah.
That's just how I feel, bro. You know what I mean? Let's get into
And vote for your props. Vote for your props too. A lot of people look over the props, Prop 13, Prop 18, and that has a major effect on lawmaking. And I think that's something that we also need to pay more attention to, because everyone's worried about this law and that law. Well, how did the law come in progress? Well, if you checked out the props, it would have told you. It literally lists everything that happens, good or bad, and people never vote for it, never pay attention to it.
Listen,
they sent you that booklet about 10 times in the mail.
Exactly, bro.
They got them.
You get the booklet a whole lot. Sometimes I do this. Side, like, I ain't reading this shit.
I throw it away. And guess what? Guess what else affects change? A dramatic pause. Your money, your spending habits. Well, King, how can you say that? I'm gonna show you proof. Remember when Colin Kaepernick stood up and the NFL banned him, and then COVID hit, and we stopped watching sports? Wasn't no money moving. Things started changing. People started coming together. That was probably one of the most united times that we have been in America, right? And what I mean by that is you had other people from around the world saying, hey, America, we're watching you, right? Because there was no other distractions. And when we weren't distracted, we started becoming focused as a people. And the government doesn't want us to be focused. They want us to be distracted. So eventually they gave us sports back. They gave us all of our little toys back. And then we stopped moving the needle and coming together. COVID might have been one of the worst times in America, but at the same time, it was one of the most, it was an important time because we stood still and we had to deal with us. And we had to deal with the things that we wanted. And then all of a sudden, because we weren't distracted with all of our little devices, we started finding each other. People started, you know what I'm saying, figuring out a way to socialize, come together, unite. You know what I mean? Starting to remember what love actually really is. You know what I mean? And I thought it was just something beautiful. I thought it was a way for the world to actually start to heal itself. You know what I mean? So stop letting distractions distract you from what's actually important for you to get the changes that you actually really want and the impacts that you really want to see in the world, bro. Because the only way for that not to happen is for us to stay distracted. My question is, when you look in the mirror, can you be honest with yourself? What is your guilty pleasure and what is your distraction? And what are you going to do about that? Because the sooner you address your distractions, the sooner you'll start getting the changes we want to see. Let's move into this next topic, y'all. Y'all cool with that?
Let's go.
All right, hold on. Let's read this last one. And all the laws have to be in accordance with the constitutional laws to actually beat the law and hold the color of law. And most people don't know about the color of law. Appreciate that, bro. That was dope. All right, let's get into this next one.
Don't expect others to give you what you give them. One of the biggest things that I'm now very comfortable with understanding is my heart is different. The energy attached to making others feel good or to put others in a position to do good is a high level energy. And just because you have that, it doesn't mean that other people should. Everybody operates differently. Yeah. So I took the pressure off of others when I stop expecting you to do what I do.
That's so fire, Kevin. This is such a fire topic. I'm going to let Industry Threat come in first. Talk to him, Tupac.
Yeah, this is a very, very, very interesting topic for many reasons. I learned a long time ago, never expect people to do for you as you would do for them. And I really enjoy, and it's really powerful what Kevin said. So I took like he said, I took the power out of their hands by expecting it. So it's just now, honestly, I just do things from the kindness of my heart. And if it comes back. It comes back. You know, you cannot expect the same thing out of people, because some people are just here to just take advantage of anything and anybody that they can, and they will do it until you set standards. That's why you have to set standards and boundaries, and that's very important to set, because if you don't set them, somebody will set them for you.
That's the Snapple fact. Dope, 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 dope. Jay, what you got for me?
Oh, yeah, I think that's a really powerful statement. You know, especially if you're coming from the position like I've, you know, obviously placed myself in for, you know, my entire life, all the way up until I was 35, just being a giver, being a yes person, being a caretaker. My every career, every job, every person, always, you know, giving of myself. But that's an insecurity that I have too, because I'm doing so much. So said in the statement, I'm expecting this in return, but the other person, there's no hard and fast law that they have to reciprocate that. Hey, if you gave me or did all this for me, and I'm like, well, what about me? It's like, well, I'm not the one who ever said I would do that. You did that out of the kind of. I was told I'll give this little kind of parable. So when I was younger, I would go to my father and I would say, hey, can you, because my dad is very business minded. So I say, hey, can you loan me $5? Can you loan me $10? Right. And he would ask for it back. And I would say, and it's specificity. I would say, oh, well, you gave me $5 and $10. He said, no, I didn't give that to you. You asked for a loan. You asked, you know, so I want to receive that back. There was specificity there. And I think that's the problem that a lot of people have, is they don't operate with that logic in mind. They operate off of base emotions, and they don't say anything about it. That's the thing too. You do all this stuff for other people. You don't say what you really want or what you really need, I should say. And it's just expecting that industry threat is going to do this when there's no clarity of intention at all. So he's like, I can't read your mind. I can't read your heart. I can't read your soul. I don't know what you need. You know, you're just doing that for me. So, you know, keeping your energy sacred, having specificity, clear communication. Hey, look, I'm doing this for you, goodness of my heart, or I'm doing this for you, and I expect some reciprocity or reciprocation coming back for it. Not that somebody is just going to read your heart and your mind and your soul and expecting them to be a good person, because that's just foolish. I think the hardest word in English language to actually learn and assimilate to your personality is the word no. It's very, very hard for people to come up with that word no, or to say, not today. This is not it. I can't do this for you, or not right now. It's very, 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 very difficult for people to get to that point. But the sooner that you do, the sooner that you're able to separate that stuff and say, hey, look, I wish I could, but I can't. You know, and the quicker you learn that, I think you'll have a much better quality of life moving forward.
Love that, bro. No, you're dope. I think you made some amazing points. So thank you. So that leads me to three things: intention, expectation, and when you learn how to say no, you're saying yes to yourself. Right? So when you did this, what was your intention? Was your intention to do it out of the kindness of your heart, because that's what you wanted to do? Or were you being manipulative with your intention because you wanted to get something back from it? And a lot of people do things because they're being manipulating. They didn't do it out of the kindness of their heart. And they lie to themselves and say, I'm doing it out of the kindness of their heart. And I've lied to myself saying, I'm doing this out of the kindness of my heart. Because if I only did it out of the kindness of my heart, why did I expect something back?
Yep.
Damn. Yeah.
I just want to let that sit for a moment. If I did this out of the kindness of my heart, why am I expecting something back? So that leads me to ask myself the question of, why did I do it? I did it expecting to get something back. I did it because I wanted you to do something for me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do it because I just wanted to do it. I did it because I wanted to get you to do something to make me feel better about me. So I didn't even do it for you. I did it for me. And we got to be able to have some accountability in that, right? A lot of times people pour their cup, right? Let's say, where's the cup at? Let's say this is a bottle, right? Boom. Bottle. And the bottle's full. And then we pour into everyone else. And then when our bottle is empty, we're upset. Well, who's mad at? Because nobody made you pour. You decided to do that on your own.
Yeah.
And now that you don't have nothing for yourself, now you feel some type of way. Well, that's your fault. But we manipulate ourselves to blame others when we decided to pour out of our cup. Then we want to point fingers at, oh, Jay made me do it. Industry threat made me do it. And we want to throw other people under the bus for our own choices and our own actions. And now we become negative Nancy because we poured and we're mad that our cup is empty. Well, your cup, as last time I checked, is your cup. And your cup is your cup because it's meant for you. And if you want to be able to give, right, because you can't save anyone else until you learn how to save yourself. If you want to give, you should allow your cup to fill and allow people to get the overflow. Because if people take the overflow, you're never upset because you're still full.
Yeah.
But a lot of people walk around pouring out of empty cups. And that's why they're mad at the world, right? Execution. How did you go about executing what you wanted to give? Because just because you gave something don't mean you executed it and you gave it the right way. And then when they didn't receive it because you didn't execute it in the right way, you're mad at they didn't know how to receive it. Sometimes that takes you back to when you was a kid. Y'all probably remember this, Jay or Jeff, industry threat. It ain't what to say, but it's how you say it.
Yeah.
So you might have wanted to give, but if you didn't give in the right energy, or if you didn't give it with the right heart, or if you didn't give it with the right frequency, and then it wasn't accepted, you're mad. But for my Bible scholars, we could take it back to the Bible. We could do Cain and Abel, where Cain gave cheerfully, Abel gave unwillingly, and then Cain was mad that Abel got blessed, but Abel gave from a different heart. Sometimes we're upset at other people for the blessings that they get, and we become envious and jealous, and we become of the Cain in our own life. So now we want to throw them under the bus and act like they did something wrong, but they gave from a cheerful place. And then you wonder why you're not getting the same type of rewards. Well, how did you give? Because if you really gave for your own, why am I worried about Justin getting blessed? Why am I worried about industry threat booking a job? If anything, I should be happy for them. But a lot of times we don't know how to be happy for other people because we don't have no happiness within ourselves. And we don't have no happiness within ourselves because we gave from a BS standpoint. Right? And then knowing how to say no is knowing how to say yes to you. A lot of us do a lot of different things just because we were asked to, not because we actually really wanted to do it. And then when we do it, we feel some type of way about doing something that we didn't want to do. And then when we do it half-assed. We don't do it wholeheartedly. And then we wonder why it didn't come out to the best of its ability. Well, how could something be the best when you show up in the best mindset?
Yeah.
So a lot of times we treat situations and we're upset doing something that we didn't know that we didn't really want to do. But if you learn how to say no is powerful. No is in every language. No is you saying yes to you when you start learning how to love yourself. And now I got one last gem, right? This was something I got to get closer to the camera because I want y'all to really understand me real quick. You train a person how to treat you based off of what you say no and yes to. No one can mistreat you if you learn how to say no and walk away from situations that you ain't got no business in and that you don't want to do. But when you start giving people enough rope, don't get mad if they pull that thing and they start dragging you because you allowed it. Learn how to say no. Learn how to walk away from things that don't serve you, because the more stronger you get in your no, you'll really see who's down for you. Because anybody can be cool with you when you're telling them yes, but you'll find out who they really are when you start saying no.
Yeah.
I wanted Justin to come over there and put up some floating shelves to me. No. I'm busy. I got things I got to do. I could be mad. I could be salty. But then am I only happy when Justin is actually doing something for me? Because that's me using him. That's me being manipulative because I want to get my way. Or am I still a real friend and I still show up for Justin on the things that I can show up for when I'm supposed to show up? Or do I only show up for people when they tell me yes?
But I also, in that sense, I also communicated it with you instead of it being a situation like I come over, hang up the shelves, miss my meeting, or don't get my work done, or get my work done late, and then get in trouble with my boss or whoever, and then say, "Well, King, if I wouldn't have went over there and hung up those shelves, I would have been on time for my." Well, damn, why didn't you just tell me that you were busy? You could have done it another day.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I think too, I think a problem that a lot of people have, I know I had this problem for a long time, maybe still do kind of, is people want to feel the need to be a savior. They want to, they have people
Wait. Time out. Flag on the play. 15-yard penalty. Say that again. 15-yard penalty, holding, because I don't think people actually heard what you just said, and that was amazing, and that was beautiful. That was powerful. Can you please say that one more time for the people in the back of the church? That was crazy.
People feel the need to want to be a savior. They want to have a God complex. People want to be Captain Save-O, basically. They want to be needed. They want, and that's an attention seeking thing. I want all these people to need me. I want all of my friends. I want them to know that, like, whether you look at it like you're dependable or you just want everybody to glom on and pay attention. Justin can do this for me. You do this for me. That feeds an ego.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The backlash of that is everything that you're saying. Great when it works out, but when it falls through, you can't then turn around and say, like you said, point the finger and project, because it's like, oh, because all these people, that situation is messed up. I gave away. Everybody asked me for the. I'm an NBA player. I make $50 million a year. And my brother asked me for money, and this person asked me for money, and this person asked for me, and this person, and I gave and gave. Hurt my leg. NBA career's over. Lost all my money. I'm broke. Well, I wouldn't be broke if it wasn't for all the people taken away from me.
Yeah. Sam Perkins.
MC Hammer, Sam Perkins. These are people who had meals and gave. And guess what? When you were giving, everyone is around. And then all of a sudden, when you're in the midst of your storm, you can't find the same people that you gave to.
Yeah. A lot of people stole from Tyson. Tyson is wise. Tyson doesn't go around blaming all the people that stole from him.
Look, Jay,
he doesn't do that anymore.
Jay, when everybody was going to a Diddy party, everybody was around. Diddy got arrested. You don't hear nobody that was at the Diddy party because people cool. And
I don't know what's going on there. I wasn't there.
I'm using that as a funny reference, right? But
I know.
Even though it's funny, it's truthful, because now that the man is in trouble, you don't see none of the people for the party that was there at the party doing all the things that they wasn't supposed to be doing, standing up for them. So it's cool when it's cool when you're having the fun, but when things actually happen. Matter of fact, here's a perfect example. I got another example. Y'all remember Evolution of Slavery? Evolution of Slavery was my first movie that I made. Industry Threat happened to be my lead actor. I didn't know the rules of filmmaking because it was my first film that I ever made. I didn't know that you couldn't go to a national park and dig holes. I went to Griffith Park and I started digging holes and had no clue what I was doing. Innocent, stupid, wrongful mistake. We're screaming, we're saying racial slurs, all different type of things at a national park. The police got called and the police came up on us. And they looked at the hole, and I told them that it was for a photo shoot, it was for a film, because it actually really was. It was what we were actually really doing. The reason why I brought this point up is because I took accountability for my wrongfulness in the situation.
Yeah.
Not only did I take accountability, but the people that I was with, they were down for the accountability with me. That's when you have some real people around you, because they're not going to just let you take the bullet by yourself.
I'll say this in this quick minute. So when I was 24, 25.
Hold on, Jay.
Yeah, go ahead.
When people show up in your storm, Alexa, be quiet. When people show up for you in your storm, that's how you know you have real people. But if people only show up in your yes moments, in the fun moments, in the good moments, when you have money, when life is going well for you, those are fake friends. My grandma used to say, when the grass is cut, the snakes will show. And what that means is when you're actually going through your storms, you will be able to see who's actually really your friend. So when you start telling people no, you will actually see who actually really messes with you and who doesn't mess with you. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. When I was 25, I'm going to say this real quick. When I was 20, this is not many people know this about me, but when I was 25 years old, I bought my house in South Georgia, And I was the first one out of my friend group, out of my family group. I was the first one. They're like, oh, just Justin's got a house, 3-4 bedroom house, but it was my house. So I bought my house, and immediately, of course, being 24 years old or 25 years old in the military, turned to a party house, right? It also turned into like a shelter, basically. Anybody that needed a room, anybody that needed a room, come stay with me. Anybody that needed a place to stay, anybody who was, evicted, anybody who was, everybody can stay here all the time. I always had my house filled up with strangers all the time, right? Family members and relatives too. Justin, stay with Justin. It's cool with Justin. It's cool with Justin. They don't have to pay no rent. They don't have to pay no bills. Nothing. It all went like that for 3 or 4 years until my military career was over, and I was paying my mortgage with my credit cards because I was 25. I never made a big purchase. I didn't know what I was doing, and then poof, everybody disappeared, family included. Now, why I'm bringing this up is because my house went into pre-foreclosure, right? So I was behind on my mortgage, basically 3 months. The house was going to get foreclosed on, and I was destitute. Everything was done. I was full on credit card bills. I didn't know what to do, and I never had another job other than the military. And my career's over, right? But what happened was I got somebody to rent it out eventually. But what happened was I was in that position to where I was angry with everybody else. I was angry, bitter. I was so angry and bitter that I moved out of the state. I went to a whole state. I did. I went from Georgia and moved to South Carolina because that's how bitter I was around with the people around me. I was like, I can't even be in the same vicinity as everybody else because y'all all screwed me over. So it took me another 2 or 3 or 4 years to actually look myself in the mirror and say, this is actually because of me. I didn't have to let these people take advantage of me. You know what I mean? But it took me years to do that. And when I did finally come to that realization and look myself in the mirror and accept the responsibility, I get a tenant I used to work for, move into my house, pay my mortgage and pay me a little bit extra, and eventually buy the house so I never had to have it advertised. I felt like I actually ended up getting blessed when I took accountability and responsibility. Because when I was bitter and I was angry, everything was falling apart. And I was blaming everybody else. So crazy story, but story nonetheless.
Let's move to this next topic.
We don't get what we ask for. We get what we believe. And what we believe about ourselves shows up in our energy. It's how we walk into a room. It's how we communicate through body language. I don't deserve to be here. It's whether we sit up straight or hide out in the back of a meeting. At times, my own energy has been saying, I'm cool with the bare minimum, don't give me more. Without knowing it, I stunted my growth because I was scared to be magnificent and doubtful that I was. I've embraced experiences I never dreamed I'd have, and I've risen to some enormous moments. But there's still more I can do, other ways for me to grow. And as I keep relearning, it's okay to own a desire for more.
That was powerful. That was beautiful. Let's start off with you this time, Industry Threat. What you got for us?
With me this time, started me last time. No, I'm just playing. Well, energy, the thing about that is very, very intriguing. Number one, personally speaking, I think I give off, hey, I don't want to talk. I'm in my thoughts. Please don't bother me. What I receive is, come on, y'all, everybody come talk to me. Well, I need some attention. So I'm still trying to figure out what my energy is saying and how to make it say something else. So, and as far as projecting in a room, when it comes to talent, I believe this, and I know this to be true. You can raise, I might sound a little crazy, you can raise your energy levels. And what I mean by that, which I have actually done before, is ways to whereas I feel like if you want to vibrate your energy across a room, you can do that with nonverbal actions. You don't need to be the loudest person in the room. You don't need to be in everybody's face. Your posture, your demeanor, your inner monologue, all that speaks volumes without you having a word to speak from your mouth. I think it's something that you should actually learn. And the only way you can learn your energy is knowing yourself.
Say that again.
The only way you can actually learn home and display your energy is to know yourself.
Fire. Jay, what you got for me? Because industry threat was cooking.
Yeah, I'll keep it short. I believe that too. You have to intrinsically be able to believe this within yourself, because when you do, that will permeate. Whether you are a boisterous person or whether you are a quieter person, I mean, powerful men don't have to scream and yell. They whisper and everybody will listen. But they know who they are. You know what I mean? So soft-spoken or not, if you know, like King, you're a great example. You know exactly who you are, and you that energy reverberates from everybody that knows you, even strangers. And I've seen it a million times. You walk into a room, and whether you are, whether you're a lot of energy or whether you're just being cool, people gravitate towards that light and towards that energy. They do that because you know who you are intrinsically as a human being, and however you've derived to get to that point within your life. So when you have that in you, but that's an honesty you have to find between yourself, the air, and God.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jay, he on fire today, man. This boy cooking today.
People are gonna. It's gonna be hollow. It's eventually gonna be see through. So you got to be able to look in the mirror and know that. Like, I walk into the room, I know, like, I'm an assistant director. I know what I'm doing. I will go to interview when I interview for the job. They're like, "Damn, you're really on it." And I'm not loud and boisterous, but like I know how to do this job.
I love
so don't worry about it. So yeah.
I love what Justin said. I think you got to be deeply rooted within yourself, and I think you got to be okay with not being like everyone else. I love what Chris Brown talked about when he was like, "Bro, I'm a leader. I don't want to do what everyone else is doing. I want to break the mold. I want to do things the way I want to do things, because the way I do things is going to make people follow me. If I'm always following someone else, how did I actually live my own life?" Right? And I love what Stress said when he talked about knowing yourself. Do you actually take the time to get to know you? I'm gonna just let that breathe for a second. Do you actually take the time to get to know you? Like myself, Industry Threat, and Marvel, Justin, we all play sports, right? And on the sports team, before every game, we had to watch game tape. And the reason why we had to watch game tape is so we could understand our opponents, so we can see their weaknesses, we can understand their strengths, we can understand their habits, and we can see what the things that they weren't really good at, right? And at the same time, guess what game tape revealed? Your strengths.
Yep.
Your bad habits.
Yep.
And that's the beautiful thing about watching game tape. Now, if we think about the game tape example, it prepared us for the game so we could win, right? So if that's true in sports, then how would that not be true in your own life? When was the last time you sat down and you reflected on the game tape of your life?
Cut. Let go.
Okay. Everybody don't play sports. So let's do a different example. Let's do business. Because we got a lot of entrepreneurs out there. We got a lot of people that work for different companies, right? So in business, they do this thing called a SWOT report. A SWOT report on business is done for an ROI. I'll break it down. A SWOT report is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And the ROI is a return on investment. And so they do a SWOT report weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually, right? Yearly, right? Everybody understand that, right? And the reason why they do that is to make sure they can determine if the business is growing and making more money or if they're losing money. So they have to get an understanding of the business, right? Well, when was the last time you did a SWOT report on yourself and you were honest? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? And if I actually strengthen my weaknesses, what opportunities would it create so I can be prepared for the threat when it comes, so I can get a better return on investment in life? So I really believe that you really got to start doing exactly what Jay said, what Entry said. You really got to start learning yourself. You really got to take some time with yourself. You really got to be honest about your flaws if you want to be able to grow. Let's move into this next topic, shall we, y'all?
Yeah.
You know that Black America saved Cadillac in 1934. Cadillac wouldn't even exist today had it not been for Black America in 1934, and I can tell you exactly how they did it. First, you have to understand Henry Ford had 3 car companies. First was a complete failure, sold the assets. He had a second car company which failed, and a man named Henry Leland bought it and turned it into Cadillac. And then Henry had a third company we know as Ford Motor Company. Henry didn't really do the work. He hired some brothers and then tried to cut the brothers out. Those brothers started a car company named Dodge. So I want you to understand how incestuous this is. So Henry Leland started Cadillac. GM bought it in 1919 from him. So now General Motors has it. It's one of the top luxury brands in America. But when the Great Depression hit in 1928, nobody had money, right? So you don't have auto loans. They did not exist back then. So if you couldn't pay cash for a car, you weren't getting it, and banks failed, nobody had money. So Cadillac lost 85% of their sales in 5 years. They were literally in the board meeting to shut Cadillac down when their service manager nationwide come in and goes, I think I can save the company. Like, yeah, whatever, how? He goes, we don't sell to anybody but white people. And Black Americans in the South are paying white guys $300 cash over and above the price of the car so they can drive it. The elite, the judges, the attorneys, the entertainers who afford it. And Cadillac's like, what do we got to lose? So in 1934, they opened it up, the first car company ever to have integrated sales. And Black Americans bought so many Cadillacs in 1934, sales went up 70%. Now I want you to ask yourself, this is the Great Depression. Nobody has money, there's bread lines. How can Black Americans afford to save a luxury brand?
I didn't know.
Huh?
It's very cool.
How?
They say
They couldn't put their money in banks. And all the banks failed, all the white people lost their money. The law of unintended consequences kept Black America from being harmed by the Great Depression like everybody else, believe it or not. And I talked to a gentleman who said the only reason my granddad said he knew it was a Great Depression because he saw a white man picking out his trash. I was like, wow. So, in doing this, it turned Cadillac around. Cadillac became the first auto manufacturer to hire Black Americans on the design and style team, not just the factory. So Cadillac became one of the first integrated brands, and a lot of times we have stereotypes about Black America loves Cadillacs. Now you know why. They save the damn car.
I did not.
Man, that's such a good segment. So let's start off with you, Jay. What you got for the people?
Shout out to all my people back in the day that I saw driving Cadillacs, because this is something I didn't know. But yeah, I was just like,
this would be a dope documentary to do.
Yeah, I was like, damn, my people love Cadillacs. This is powerful, and I'm glad that this was a topic because I didn't know this. And I think that there's a larger issue with us, or with people not knowing the history of things, and in effect having more respect in that sense for these things that occurred in the past. But I don't know, man. This one hit me kind of hard. I'll kind of leave it here, but I do like I really kind of tapped into the part where it was like, Ford cut these guys out, and then they went and started Dodge. So even after all these failures and stuff like that, he's still going to try to do low people, and then be like, all right, cool. That's a story of resilience. That's a story which is the age old story for Black Americans. It's always resilience. It's always resilience. It's like, no matter what you give me, no matter how far down the ladder you try to push me, no matter how much you try to kick me on the ground, we are resilient people. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. You cut me out, push me over here. Okay, cool. I'll go make my own car company. I'll go do my own thing. It's cool. You ain't got to give me nothing. I'll make it happen on my own. So, powerful, man.
Jay, nice. Industry threat. Talk to me.
You know what I'm tired of? I'm tired of people using Black stereotypes and not knowing the history. Now, here's the thing. People, Black people always drive Cadillacs, or they love Cadillacs and this. Do you know we saved Cadillac? Do you know the history of Cadillac? And let's go into something that's very important. Not to go a little further off topic. as they mentioned, they weren't giving out loans to African Americans. Now, this is in the car industry. Now, we're talking about loans less transferred to home loans. Now, with that being said, there was a little something called redline, where they was not giving Black Americans loans, right? Where they were like, we have lined out this area and we are not giving loans to the people that are in this region. Now, when this hit with this, oh, well, we're losing money and the Great Depression is hit, reverse redlining came. All right. They were like, oh, we broke. We ain't got nobody to save us. Let's look to the Negroes. Now, here's the thing with reverse redlining that people don't know. They did a lot of home loans that was based on something that was called stated loan docs. And basically what a stated loan doc is I can say that, hey, I made $50K a month, $60K a month. I don't gotta see no assets. I don't need to see no proof. I don't need to see no bank statements. This is based upon the information given on my 1003 app, which is a loan doc, right? And this is something that I feel like that was also manipulating our people. Not to go too far off topic, but it's just like y'all didn't want to give us loans and stuff when we had the money and y'all was doing good. Now that y'all doing bad, not only do y'all want to give us loans, you want to manipulate us on the loans that you give us by saying that, okay, and here's something that people's also doing. A person will state that they make 10K on the loan, the bank will put, oh, they are making 40K, which would put the homeowner in debt. And here's something that's crazier. It's something they call a derivative. They were betting that the loans would fail that they issued. Well, don't get me started on this. That's it, bro. That's all I got to say.
Good. Hey, listen, I'm going to double down. Hey, watch this, Jay. That shows I know you better than you know you.
Why you say that?
Now, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about white America when it comes to Black people.
Yeah.
I know you better than you. And because it was 300%, now I'll open it up to use you to save us. Because we can't do it. Damn. You know how long we've been being used to save other people, but yet the people that are saving other people are the ones being thrown under the bus and being manipulated? Yep. Came to the war. Well, guess what? We can't win the war, so we'll get Black people to help us.
That's right.
Can't save Cadillac, so we'll get Black people to help us. It's always cool when you need Black people. But when you don't need our help, who are we then? Yep. We're still 3/5. It's amazing what 3/5 can do. It's amazing what 3/5 can do when you need it.
Yeah. In other words, when you need me, that's when you need me.
What's crazier is it's amazing what we all can do together.
Yeah.
See, it shouldn't take for you to struggle to want to use us. Because if we did it together in the first place, there would be no struggle. But the reason why there's so much struggle is because all people want to do is use each other to be saved. Save me, save me, save me, and I'll manipulate you in the saving to get back at you later. But you needed me to save you. But yet you're punishing me in the way I saved you. And then you use the Black highlight to throw Black people under the bus. If we all just came together, it wouldn't be like that in the first place. See, that's why unity is powerful. But they know unity is powerful. That's why they come up with so many devices to keep us divided. And the day we stop being divided, the day that we actually become united, because the United States ain't united if every state has its own law and own rules, but the day we become united as human beings, as humanity, the day that the rainbow comes together, the day that we actually know how to love ourselves so we can love each other will be the day that the world changes. Yo, that's our show. I'm King Jaquel Martin. I'm here with my two brothers, Jay and Industry Threat in the building. Come back next Thursday, same time. We're going to be dropping gems, having fun. Make sure you check out these young men Instagrams, you know what I mean? Show support on the gram, you know what I mean? Show some love to us, you know what I mean? Because we all doing some big things. Let me get their grams up here. Let me bring all of them back up here one at a time so we can see their grams. Let me get rid of this ticker real quick. We can see everybody's Instagram. Make sure you check out my brother at Marvel00784. Make sure you check out my boy Industry Threat at Industry Threat. You dig? And holla at your boy Martin. We in the building. It's your boy. Get at us.
Peace.